Today we are talking about stocks. Get your money right. Just kidding. Stocks, in this case, are a combination of steals and blocks. We've got 10 players who all actually happen to be 6 foot or above that combine for at least 1 block and at least 1 steal. We're gonna get into a little defense because yes, this is a year of monster 40-point games, but you also got some terrific defenders in the league and we're gonna look at them. Run the Tape is presented by AT&T 5G. It only makes sense to start the conversation with the reigning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, also top 3 in your conversation of MVP this year, and that would be the one and only A'ja Wilson. Here, you just gotta watch how A'ja recovers. This is a pass over the top. It's a solid pass by Chicago going to one of their bigs inside. But look at the ground that A'ja covers to get back, and you know it, we talking about stocks, baby. So block this shot. Just the timing, the effort, and to do this without fouling is huge. Look at this second look. Clean. Sorry, Ruthie Hebert, you forgot who was looming in the backcourt there. All right, and then here, watch. A'ja is defending in the paint, right? She's on the weak side. De'Arica Hamby's in the short corner. The ball is up the top. Layshia Clarendon, Chelsea Gray. But watch how well A'ja moves off the basketball. First, she was prepared to help if that ball had gone into Nneka Ogwumike over Kelsey Plum's head. But then she reacts to De'Arica Hamby coming up the lane. And because when she moves as a defender, her hands are always active, look at this deflection, which ultimately is a steal because she's got the hands to corral it and send her team the other way. Mind you, A'ja is 6'4", and it's a combination of blocks and steals. She's at 3.5 when you combine those two together, averaging on the season. Let's get to another MVP candidate, shall we? Breanna Stewart, who has been tremendous defensively on the back end this year for the New York Liberty. Another player listed at 6'4", using that incredible wingspan and timing. Now freeze it. After this pass gets made, Arike is looking for Teaira McCowan. Teaira McCowan is rightfully so surrounded now by 4 white jerseys. But it's Stewie who has the advantage with her timing and her reach. Sends it away from the rim, and the Liberty are off to the races where they are so dangerous. Might have had that left hand on Teaira's back, but it's cool. The play goes on. Now, this is a hard hedge here, right? Connecticut is operating in this pick and roll. Her length, her footwork this year in terms of really being able to stop slower guards and use her length. Hard hedge, active hand, that right hand gets out, sliding her feet, slide those puppies like they say, comes up with the steal that leads the Liberty off to the races again. We gotta go to Ezi Magbegor. Shout out to Ezi. Y'all know I showed her love as a first-year rookie. But this is a young lady who is, again, 3+ blocks and steals when you talk about the combination. Also listed at 6'4", incredible with the timing and her footwork. Here she's got her head on a swivel. Look at who she's guarding at the perimeter. She's defending at the perimeter, not just in the paint. Moves, slides her feet. Then she's got to recover because there's some ball movement, there's some confusion. Look at her get from the middle of the gut of the paint over to the lane line where this penetration is happening. Perfect timing, come on, man. Going to the right, finishes with the right, no contact, just all basketball on Kalani Brown, another one of the twin towers that Dallas has. And then here, on the perimeter, you got the screen and roll action. When you have defenders like Ezi, Stewie, A'ja, just your ability to mix it up in terms of coverages on pick and roll is just chef's kiss, just an embarrassment of riches. Look at her hedge, right? She can hold Erica Wheeler and still recover back to her original player because of her length and her foot speed. Gets back, that's a steal. I mean, that is just so lucky for the Seattle Storm to have her on their squad and Noelle Quinn to be able to make those adjustments. Let's keep this thing rolling with Elizabeth Williams, who has been an all-defensive team selection, not yet a defensive player of the year, but she's doing her thing in Chicago. Now, check this out. Dallas, one of the teams in the league that loves to play in transition or that secondary break, Elizabeth Williams is down on the block, battling for her life with Teaira McCowan. But here comes Arike Ogwumike, who you just have to know where she is at all times. Without any hesitation, because this could have been a dump off, Elizabeth comes up with a huge play, okay, leaving Teaira McCowan, clean block. You gotta freeze this for the reaction. I think that was Alanna Smith, gave you one of these, like, woo-hoo, woo, worthy. All right, now we get into Alanna Smith. I know Chicago has struggled this year. Alanna, though, also listed at 6'4", also someone who's hanging out in a block and a steal in terms of their category. Keep an eye on her as Chicago begins to reset. I mean, frankly, we don't know. They could end up in the playoffs this year. The race has become that tight down the stretch. But all right, let's take a look at it. We start, though, again, the recovery, pick and roll action. She's defending a guard at the top of the key, long length in terms of her hands, contesting, even got a foot involved. We can talk about my theory on kickballs another time. But anyway, she's all over this ball handler who has now picked up their dribble. Then she's got to get back into the action because of this handoff. That's actually a really tough screen set there by the Fever. She jumps out at it. You've got a penetration, a guard on attack coming down the lane, forces them away from the lane line. They got to go outside the paint, courtesy of Alanna Smith. Hands are still active. And then look, just taking advantage of her length. I love on this particular play that once she forces, I believe that's Grace Berger, out of the lane line, her hands are here, right? So she's ready. She's making it very clear to our officials, this is not a foul. And then her hands go from her wingspan out at her shoulders, just straight up to come up with that block. Just a really great heads up play by Alanna Smith there. We got to talk about Napheesa Collier, one of the top 5 scorers in the league, but also steal and blocks category. Now, what's interesting for Napheesa compared to the players we've run through so far, she actually averages more steals than blocks. She's only listed at 6'1". I think people forget that Napheesa doesn't have that 3 inches that a lot of these other players on this list that we're talking about do. But baby, don't get it confused in terms of the productivity. I think what you see from her that is so spectacular is the way that she moves with her hands above her head. Ezi Magbegor, I mentioned it, 6'4". Contests this initial, doesn't come up with a block, but does enough to disrupt. Keeps her hands high, and then look what happens. Boop, I'll take that. You're getting more blocks in this highlight because she had 6 blocks in this basketball game. Coming over from the help, again, just hands straight up. Mind you, she's -3 inches, but just hands straight up and perfect timing comes up with another block here. Now this game was special because this is a game-winning basket for Mama Fee. She ain't worried about them 3 inches she's giving up offensively or defensively. Bonus tape continues. We gotta talk about the likely rookie of the year, and deservedly so, Aliyah Boston. Look at the time and score in this ball game. Less than a minute to go, Fever are clinging to a 1-point lead, and for a young squad, frankly, wins have been hard to come by, but this one was powered by defense by Aliyah Boston. She does a great job of stunting after this screen. Somebody's got to get in front of her. She contests, but watch her ability to recover back to her assignment, Meg Gustafson. Give me that! We trying to hold on and win this basketball game. I am not about to let you be the reason we lost. This ultimately becomes a game-saving play as the Fever did come up with this win. All right, we're breaking trend a little bit here, but rightfully so. Alyssa Thomas, y'all. Gotta be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Gotta be in the conversation for MVP. One of the smaller players on this list, her versatility is undeniable. She's been terrific in the steals category. The blocks is like flirting with one officially, but you know that her presence is felt. Let's check it out. And shout out to my boy Nikias Duncan for this video. Hard hedge off the screen, forces Mitchell back. Look at how far she's gonna force Mitchell away from the 3-point line. Like she's not in range to make a play. Ball's gonna swing, gets back in the textbook position. Defending a guard, y'all. Mind you, we talk about her versatility all the time. Keeps her ball handler in front. Look at her slide her feet. Ball comes, help, could recover if she needs to, and then comes up with the rebound because she's a monster. There's a reason why she set a record for triple doubles this season. There you have it. By the numbers, these are some of the top defenders in the league, but we didn't even really get into the guard position where Jordan Canada and Brittany Sykes and Betnijah Laney all have turned heads with their on-ball defense. We're gonna see who comes up with Defensive Player of the Year, but that is defense that you can't deny. So don't tell me it's just been an outburst of scoring this particular year. This episode of Run the Tape is presented by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.